The following presentation is paid for by the government of Japan and produced by Nikkei Visual Images. The opinions, views, and claims expressed do not reflect those of CNBC.
Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. The country has a growing economy led by a generation born after the Vietnam War. What's more, located on the main overland transport route of the Southern Economic Corridor to Bangkok, Thailand, Ho Chi Minh City is also attracting global interest as the gateway into the massive economic zone of ASEAN. But Vietnam is still primarily comprised of labor-intensive industries. If the economy continues to grow at its current pace and labor costs rise, there are concerns that companies may head to other countries where wages are lower, putting a brake on industrial development. To avert such a scenario, nurturing domestic companies is necessary. And for that, it's imperative to foster human resources. Also indispensable is infrastructure. We look at what Vietnam is doing in the areas of both human resources and infrastructure as part of its efforts to build a more prosperous and powerful country. Our first stop in Ho Chi Minh City is near the Opera House. It's where a metro station is currently under construction. Involved in the work are about 200 people. The overwhelming majority are Vietnamese. Ho Chi Minh City is where Vietnam is building its first metro system under the supervision of Japanese construction companies. This project was awarded by the city's Management Authority for Urban Railways to a joint venture of Shimizu Corporation and Maeda Corporation. Ensuring the safety of locally employed workers and overseeing the operation is the role of the engineers from Japan.
Otherwise, when we do the quality to check this layer by layer, it covers some hair or void.
Of the 8 planned metro lines in Ho Chi Minh City, construction of Line 1 is being carried out with the assistance of the Japanese government. It will have a total length of about 20 kilometers and connect 14 stations in the city and the suburbs. The construction cost is about $20 billion, most of which will be funded through low-interest loans provided by the Japanese government through JICA, the Japan International Cooperation Agency. Toshifumi Sakai of JICA explains the objective of the project.
In the case of Vietnam, the country has experienced very long periods of conflict, such as the Vietnam War, so the building of infrastructure has been extremely delayed. Also, Vietnam has a tremendous number of motorcycles. It's an age now in which there's one motorcycle for every 2 people. Motorization will speed up, and if average incomes rise, the number of cars will also keep growing. Even under current circumstances, there's quite severe congestion in Ho Chi Minh City during rush hours. What's happening can also be seen in the history of neighboring countries. So, as a solution, we believe a high-speed mass transport system will become necessary.
The project is said to be extremely complex. Just a stone's throw away is the Saigon River, and the ground is prone to waterlogging. What's more, the area is home to many historic colonial-era buildings, which are said to have extremely weak foundations. In the project, numerous measures are being taken to avoid affecting nearby structures.
Right now, we're measuring ground surface subsidence. The citizens have a very strong affinity for the historic structures in the area, so we're carrying out our work with extreme care.
非常に細心の注意を払って作業してます。
Data from various places are aggregated at the central office.
これがですね、
This is real-time data from the ongoing excavation at the Opera House. We monitor the situation and check for ground surface subsidence, movement of the walls of structures, and other aspects.
Measures to avoid affecting nearby buildings are also found in the construction method itself. The metro station is being built using an inverted construction method, a specialty of Japanese construction companies.
It's an inverted construction method of constructing a structure from the top down.
Typically, underground structures are constructed by carrying out a massive excavation and building upwards from the bottom layer. But here, they repeat a process of excavating gradually and building the structure from the top floor all the way to the bottom floor. Since the excavation is carried out with the walls supported by the floor slabs of the underground station, the impact on the surrounding environment can be minimized. What's more, under the planned route, trains will run on elevated tracks for most of the way. Construction of the elevated section is being overseen by a consortium of Sumitomo Corporation of Japan and local general contractor Cienco 6. On this day, work to connect the piers of a bridge with girders is being carried out. Here, they're using a method called precast segmental construction, a first in Vietnam. It involves prefabricating various parts at a factory so they can be assembled on-site. It's said to reduce the amount of work needed to be carried out on-site and improves efficiency. We visited a factory where the girder segments are being made. Here, they first assemble steel frames. Then concrete is poured on them to create a single segment.
With this bigger facility, we can make 11 segments a day.
The Japanese engineers keep their eyes peeled, especially on the condition of the concrete. They say temperature control is key.
31 degree.
Depending on the temperature, the quality of the concrete during casting changes. We make sure that the temperature of the concrete is 35 degrees Celsius or less every time.
Thorough temperature management makes the concrete easier to process and results in high-quality segments. The engineers make sure that everyone here adheres to this commitment to quality. The carriages and other railway equipment for the number 1 line are being supplied by Japanese manufacturer Hitachi.
I don't think we need those, do we? I think the expectations are quite rightly very high on a new metro system, particularly based on our Japanese products, which are very reliable and very customer friendly. So the expectations are very high. We've had to modify certain things, but I'm sure the travelling public will be very happy with the solution that they get when we go into service.
The first ever metro line for the people of Vietnam. What are their expectations?
I use the bus to go to school. The ride usually takes about 30 minutes, but during the rush hour, I have no clue how long it'll take. I hope the metro is built soon.
If they put in place a proper metro schedule, then it'll help relieve traffic congestion, and the lives of citizens will improve greatly.
In Ho Chi Minh City so far, the Japanese government has provided assistance in a number of construction projects, such as the East-West Highway and Saigon River Tunnel. But expectations are especially high for the city's Metro Line No. 1, which is seen to symbolize Vietnam's economic development. Construction is being carried out with the aim of completing it by 2020. Assistance from Japan isn't limited to the financial and technological. This is the Kaizen Yoshida School, operated by worker dispatch company Esuhai. It was set up in 2006 as a school to train technical interns who can be dispatched to factories in Japan. Vietnam has set a goal of becoming an industrialized country by 2020. Indispensable to that end is the cultivation of human resources. By teaching the technical skills and know-how of industrialized countries such as Japan, business schools like this aim to nurture people who can contribute to industrial development. At the Kaizen Yoshida School, about 1,150 young Vietnamese are preparing to go to Japan as interns by studying conversational Japanese, business etiquette, as well as specialized terminology used in factories. Noticeable are classes in which students remain standing. Why is this?
People sent to factories as interns mostly do work that involves standing for a long time. We wanted them to practice first, so that's why we introduced standing desks.
Japan has what's called an Industrial Training and Technical Internship Program. Under this system, people from developing countries are invited to Japan for as long as 3 years to acquire technical skills and learn about advanced technologies. The aim is to help cultivate human resources capable of leading the economic development of their countries. Worker dispatch company Esuhai, which runs the Kaizen Yoshida School, trains and sends about 1,000 young people in Vietnam to Japan every year. The hope is that such educational facilities will help build a bridge of understanding and cooperation between Vietnam and Japan. The school's founder, Lê Lôn Son, explains.
If we properly provide good human resources to companies, those companies will be happy and they'll want to hire more people from Vietnam. Then, once those people acquire enough skills, they can set up companies in Vietnam. That's the type of good result this will lead to. There are lots of jobs in Japan, but not enough workers. Vietnam has many people, but doesn't have enough jobs. Add the two sides and we'll be really strong. If we can build a joint venture type of relationship, both countries will be able to contribute more to the world.
The motivation of young Vietnamese who want to work in Japan is high. To ensure as much as possible that they don't struggle in Japan, this school carries out in-depth mental training as well.
The boss rebukes you. It's hard to bear, so you're rebuked, but you shouldn't feel dejected. Surely the problem lies within you.
We visited one company in Japan accepting students from the school. It's based in Kodama, Saitama. There are currently 8 technical interns working at Katsuden Architect.
Take care not to catch cold and wash your hands and gargle.
Their core products are staircases for single-family homes. As they're made of steel, various parts are welded together.